Arabian nights like Arabian days. More often than not are hotter than hot, but in a very good way. In a lot of good ways. One thing about me, I'm going to butcher some lyrics, but I'm going to do my best not to butcher a fragrance review. I know I'm bugging, but it's Friday. It's Fat Boy Friday. And yeah, we're talking about from the house of Royal Crown. This is Oud Jasmine. Yeah, I'm bugging, I know, but it's Friday. Aladdin is might be my favorite Disney movie ever. Nonetheless, roll the footage, Walt. Let's go.
Jello Beats, holla at me.
Yeah, said it's Fat Boy Friday. Fat Boy family, come swing my way. Let me tell you about the best fragrance of the day. And you don't like it, shorty, you can hit the highway. But on your way out, please hit that like button. Hit subscribe, pump it up, baby Joe Budden. Still staying true to this old fragrance game. It's Fat Boy Finesse, baby, ain't nothing changed. Yeah, I said it's Fat Boy Friday. Hey, I said it's Fat Boy Friday. Hey, I said it's Fat Boy Friday. Guess what? It's Fat Boy Friday. Yo, what's going on, party people, Fat Boy family? I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Please forgive my intro. I'm sorry, not sorry. You know what I'm saying? I know it would have seemed that I lost my mind there for a second. Lost my crown, pun intended. Yeah, it's Friday, man. I'm in a good mood, nonetheless. But I appreciate you guys coming by. This is not Broadway. We are talking about fragrance. So if you like that type of thing, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button. And while you're at it, go ahead and click the bell to get notified every single time I post new content to the channel. But let's go ahead and jump right into today's discussion. Again, I'm going to be talking about Royal Crown's Oud Jasmine, man. Listen, I've been getting the opportunity to put my nose on a lot of things lately, especially niche fragrances. And like I said, one of my guys reached out and was like, yo, I got something I think you should smell and I think your audience would like. And I said, hey, why not? And first of all, I'm back from the barbershop. And this is timely because, I don't know, women talk about this, fellas. We really don't talk about this. Your crown is a huge part of who you are. And this is so timely because when you go to the barbershop, that's kind of like our sanctuary. It's a place of peace. It's a place of retreat. You know what I'm saying? It's a place you can quote unquote let your hair down or get it cut off, whatever, depending on what style of hair that you had. And I was like, yo, I wanted to do the review earlier in the week, but I was like, nah, I need to get a haircut because this really kind of speaks to me. When I smelt it, it reminded me of several things. I was like, this smells rich. It's a wealthy fragrance. It smells rich, but it also reminds me of church. And one of the things in church growing up that they always talked about was when you're being blessed, or when they're praying over you, my mom, grandma, they would always say from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. And so a lot of times we forget how important our crown is, and it represents our mental state. And a lot of times in FragCon with fragrance, you can get caught up in this rat race or whatever, but I'm a prime example and I'm a firm believer. And I tell people, one of the reasons I love fragrance is the aromatherapy aspect of it, because when you look better, when you smell better, it makes you feel better. And it forces you to kind of step up to the plate, especially if you're wearing a particular fragrance like this one right here. This Royal Crown Oud Jasmine, it smells rich. It's a jasmine fragrance, but it's not your typical white floral, yellow floral jasmine. This has a level of darkness to it, a level of depth to it, slightly animalic nature to it. So again, this is one of those things that you think women would run to, but I could definitely see a lot of people of that ilk wearing something like this. You're not going to smell like anybody else if you put this on. Let's just go ahead and get that straight. You're not going to smell like anybody else. You're going to smell unique. This is something, like I said, it reminds me of church. This is something you would wear to the Met Gala. You know what I'm saying? This is something that you would wear, anything important, anything that's going to require you to put on a tux, not just a suit, but a tux where you're going to be around some high profile people. This is something that you would wear. Like, this may sound a little bit morbid, but I saw this. I thought about Aladdin immediately. I also thought about like Princess Diana. You know what I'm saying? Not just because of the crown and all of that, but it's like, that's what I saw. I saw royalty. I saw the Queen of England. I saw Princess Diana. I saw this and I was like, at her funeral, I was like, I bet you this is what the sanctuary, or I forgot what they call the actual church, building itself. But I'm like, this is probably what it smelled like. You know, this smells like Churchill Downs. Like, I guarantee you, London, there are places in London that probably smell like this. Definitely in the Middle East area, because you get all of those nuances here. But again, let's talk about what's in it, because if you're not a fan of white florals, if you're not a fan of yellow florals, if you're not a fan of tuberose, if you're not a fan of, I call them yin yang twins, that ylang lang, I'd stay away from this. This is one of those, it's not a down the middle type of fragrance. Either you hate it or you love it. Very unique, very prestigious, very sophisticated, very rich, very wealthy. And I'm not just talking about because of the price, because it's super expensive and it's a niche fragrance, because there are things out there you can smell rich with anything. But no, you can tell this right here is different, not just from the presentation. Now I'm going to talk about the presentation real quick, because it came in like this plush box. Like this right here, I know it's white and it's blown out, but this is like this plush leather. Real nice, heavy, big box. And then the fragrance actually sits in here. So super like coffin style or whatever. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it's a tester or not, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the black Royal Crown bottles actually come in a black box. And it has the fragrance on the box. So this actually might be a tester box, but it was wrapped in the cellophane. I mean, it was wrapped like bow, all of that. So, you know, hey, it's got to be a tester or whatever, even though it doesn't necessarily say that. And then you have this beautiful black bottle, which I don't know if you can really see the details. You may see what look like specks, like if that's dirt or something like that. No, that is actually hand blown glass. That's hand blown glass. So the bottle itself, super heavy, very unique. And then the crown is heavy. You could actually put this on a chain and wear it. Like, this is the crown that the king was looking for in SpongeBob. When he thought Mr. Crab, when Plankton stole the crown and took it to Shell City, this was the crown that they were looking for right here.
I stole your crown, signed Eugene Krabs!
Relinquish the royal crown to me at once!
And my understanding is that they have people who literally come in, the crystals here, these are actually hand placed inside of this cap. So it's not like any type of machinery or anything like that. Like, they're hand placing all of these crystals that look like diamonds. Swarovski, you know how you can't say Worcestershire sauce? Swarovski, whatever type of crystal. I can't say that either. I'm butchering that all the way. But whatever those type of crystals are what's in this crown. Super dope. But the fragrance itself, I'm going to tell you guys what the notes are in a second. But again, you get this beautiful white yellow floral. In the opening, there's some clove here, so there's a bit of spice there as well. And then as you start to work your way through the fragrance, it goes from just being something feminine leaning to being more unisex and embracing some of that darkness. The slightest bit of leather accord, the slightest bit of leather that I think really comes from the ambergris, and then the oud, like I said, not leather, but it's the slightest nuance, that slightest woody nuance there, because of some benzoin and some musk. And the vetiver comes through on my skin just a hair. So this fragrance, again, is going to be for a very specific type of person. Everybody is just not going to run out to Saks or run out and go buy this. You're probably one of those people where you're already running in that circle anyway. You know, so you have very important meetings You go to a lot of galas, you go to a lot of banquets, you go to a lot of red carpet events or different things like this. If you want to be in that level, or let's say if you're a bishop, not just a Catholic bishop. I know this kind of reminds me of that, but anybody of any ilk can really appreciate this fragrance. Now, I'm not saying that to demean anybody that may not be on that level, that may wear clone fragrances, that may wear designer fragrances. No, this is not about separating people and creating classes. No, this is about when you smell this, either you're gonna step up to the plate or you're gonna be like, nah, I'm good. I gotta pass on that. I gotta pass on that. I gotta pass on that. So again, I'm just gonna run through the notes. I'm gonna put it on the screen just so you guys can see that real quick. I'm trying to just be more intentional and direct about the review, just to tell you how it smells, what I get, how I would wear this, and all of that. But in the top, you get that ylang ylang, them yin yang twins, clove, cardamom, and saffron, all right? And then in the middle, you get the jasmine, tuberose, argo oud, cedar, Moroccan rose. I will say that rose is there as well. It's very subtle. It gives it this beautiful silkiness. Like I said, it's not overpowering. This is not a rose fragrance because, again, the white florals and the yellow florals from the tuberose and the ylang ylang and the jasmine are clearly, you know, doing all the work here. But you do get this like nice sexiness, like this, again, Princess Jasmine type feel. I promise to you, this is what they wore in Aladdin. I'm convinced. Type of feel. And then in the base, like I said, that's when it really starts to transition, where somebody like myself can really embrace it. You have that ambergris, again, some more oud, benzoin musk, and that vetiver does start to come through a little bit at the end, definitely, depending on your skin type and how your chemistry goes. So I'm glad I was able to get my nose in this. I'm glad I was able to present this to you. This is going to be one I'm going to be having a lot of people try out, because I do know a lot of my female friends in particular, they love jasmine, they love tuberose. I'm not the biggest tuberose person, but I appreciate how the tuberose is done here. Like, I remember where I talked about the other fragrance the other day, where I was like, it's the modern version, the young, modern, better version of white diamonds. This is the version of what white diamonds wish they could have been. Like, this is crazy, like crazy. So if you have a chance to sample this, get your nose on it, definitely do that. But yeah, fam, I'm glad I had this experience. We're moving into talking about the experience of fragrance. People, remember I tell y'all all the time, people don't buy products, they buy people. And as it relates to Fragcom, people don't buy the fragrance. They buy what the fragrance does for them. They buy how the fragrance makes them feel. And this right here, y'all seen, it had me bugging out singing. So again, from the house of Royal Crown, we have Oud Jasmine. Holla at your boy. Let me know. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, click the bell so you can be notified every single time I post new content to the channel. But most of all, hit them comments. Let me know which was worse. None of it was bad, but leave the singing out of it. Let's talk about the fragrance. Let me know, is it something you want to get your nose on? How you feel about it? Have you smelt it? Like I said, I believe this is going to be one that's going to be available in Saks soon that you can get your nose on if it's not already there. So you may be able to just run out to the store and actually smell it. But until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Y'all be easy.